What would you do if the place you called home, the sanctuary you built with your own hands, was torn apart without warning? For Judge Eleanor Caldwell, that question wasn't hypothetical, it was the spark that ignited a storm of betrayal, defiance, and heartbreak. In the quiet town of Willow Creek, where manicured lawns and pristine fences hid simmering tensions, Eleanor's life was about to unravel in ways she never imagined. Eleanor had always been a woman of precision. At 52, her reputation as a federal judge was unassailable, sharp, fair, and unflinching. Her courtroom was a fortress of order, her rulings a balance of law and humanity. But her true refuge was her home, a secluded property on the edge of town, reachable only by a narrow wooden bridge she'd designed herself. The bridge spanned a shallow ravine, its sturdy planks and hand-carved railings a testament to her late husband, Marcus, who had helped her build it during their first year of marriage. It wasn't just a crossing. It was a monument to their love, a path to the life they dreamed of together. After Marcus's death 5 years ago, Eleanor clung to that bridge like a lifeline, maintaining it with the same meticulous care she brought to her bench. The Willow Creek Homeowners Association, however, saw things differently. To them, the bridge was an eyesore, a rustic blemish on their vision of suburban perfection. The HOA president, Linda Hargrove, was a woman who wielded her clipboard like a scepter, her smile as sharp as a blade. For months, she'd sent letters demanding Eleanor modernize the bridge to match the neighborhood's aesthetic style, concrete, uniformity. Eleanor ignored them. The bridge was on her property, beyond their jurisdiction, or so she thought. She was a federal judge, after all. Who would dare challenge her? The answer came on a crisp October morning. Eleanor was in her kitchen, sipping coffee, when she heard the roar of machinery. She stepped outside, her heart lurching as she saw a bulldozer tearing into her bridge. Planks splintered, railings collapsed, and the ravine swallowed the debris with a sickening crunch. Linda stood nearby, arms crossed, directing the crew like a general. Eleanor's voice trembled with rage as she stormed toward them. "Stop this immediately. This is my property." Linda turned, her smile unfazed. "Judge Caldwell, this bridge violates HOA regulations. We sent notices. You didn't respond. We're within our rights." "Your rights?" Eleanor's eyes blazed. "I'm a federal judge. That bridge is on my land, and you've just committed criminal trespass and property destruction. My security detail is on their way." She gestured to her phone, already dialing her assigned U.S. Marshals. Linda's smile faltered, but only for a moment. The confrontation escalated as the marshals arrived, their presence a stark contrast to the suburban calm. Neighbors gathered, whispering, their phones recording the standoff. Linda doubled down, waving a stack of documents she claimed gave the HOA authority. Eleanor, her voice steady despite the ache in her chest, demanded to see them. The papers were flimsy, vague references to community standards with no legal weight. But the damage was done. Her bridge, her memory of Marcus, was a pile of rubble. As the marshals detained the demolition crew for questioning, a young man stepped forward from the crowd. He was in his late 20s, with a nervous energy and eyes that darted between Eleanor and Linda. "I'm Ryan," he said, his voice low. I work for the HOA. I tried to warn you, Judge Caldwell. I left messages at your office, but they never got through." Eleanor froze. She hadn't checked her office voicemail in weeks, too buried in cases. Ryan's words hit like a second blow. Had she missed a chance to stop this? Ryan's revelation was the first twist, a crack in Eleanor's certainty. She'd assumed the HOA's actions were pure malice, but Ryan's story painted a murkier picture. He explained how Linda had pushed the demolition through in secret, bypassing the HOA board's vote. Ryan, a low-level clerk with dreams of law school, had overheard her plans but was too afraid of losing his job to confront her directly. His attempt to warn Eleanor had been a quiet act of rebellion, one she'd unknowingly ignored. The days that followed were a whirlwind of legal filings. Eleanor sued the HOA for damages, her courtroom instincts kicking in. She uncovered a pattern of overreach. Linda had bullied other residents into compliance, using questionable tactics to enforce her vision. The case drew media attention, painting Willow Creek as a battleground between individual rights and collective control. Eleanor's status as a judge made her a lightning rod. Some neighbors supported her. Others saw her as an elitist flouting their rules. But the fight was draining. Each night, Eleanor sat on her porch, staring at the ravine where her bridge once stood. The loss wasn't just physical, it was a wound to her soul. Marcus's laughter, his calloused hands steadying the planks, haunted her. She began to question herself. Had she been too stubborn, clinging to the past? Should she have compromised? The weight of her grief, long buried under her judicial robe, resurfaced with a vengeance. Then came the second twist. At a community meeting, Ryan approached Eleanor again, this time with a folder of documents he'd smuggled from the HOA office. "Linda's been skimming funds," he whispered. "She used the HOA budget to pay for the demolition, claiming it was for beautification. But there's Moresh's been buying votes to stay in power." The papers showed payments to board members, disguised as consulting fees. Ryan's courage stunned Eleanor. He was risking everything to expose Linda, a nobody standing up to a tyrant. Eleanor took the evidence to court. Her resolve hardened. The case became a crusade not just for her bridge, but for every resident Linda had manipulated. The trial was a spectacle, with Linda's polished demeanor crumbling under cross-examination. Eleanor's questions were surgical, her voice steady but laced with the pain of her loss. The jury ruled in her favor, awarding damages and ordering Linda's removal from the HOA. The neighborhood erupted in cheers, but Eleanor felt no victory. The bridge was still gone. In the aftermath, Ryan became an unexpected ally. He visited Eleanor's home, offering to help rebuild the bridge. She hesitated, wary of reopening old wounds, but his earnestness won her over. Together, they worked on weekends, hammering planks and sharing stories. Ryan spoke of his late mother, who'd taught him to stand up for what was right, even when it scared him. Eleanor shared memories of Marcus, her voice breaking as she described their first summer building the bridge. For the first time in years, she felt a flicker of connection, a reason to hope. But hope is a fragile thing. On the day the new bridge was nearly complete, Eleanor received a call from the U.S. Marshals Service. Ryan had been found dead in his apartment, an apparent suicide. A note, scrawled in his handwriting, read, "I'm sorry I couldn't do more." The police ruled it quickly, but Eleanor's instincts screamed foul play. She dug deeper, uncovering whispers that Linda's allies had threatened Ryan after his testimony. There was no proof, no concrete evidence to reopen the case. The official report stood, but Eleanor knew the truth. Ryan's courage had cost him his life. The bridge was finished, but Eleanor couldn't cross it. Every step felt like a betrayal of Ryan, of Marcus, of the justice she'd sworn to uphold. She stood at the ravine's edge, the new planks gleaming under the moonlight, and wept. She was a federal judge, a woman who commanded respect, protected by armed marshals. Yet she couldn't protect the people who mattered most. The HOA was dismantled, Linda disgraced, but the cost was too high. The bridge, once a symbol of love, was now a monument to loss. Eleanor sold her home the following spring. She couldn't stay in Willow Creek, where every glance at the bridge reminded her of what she'd failed to parse: incomplete artifact.